Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you to the Cortex Media Podcast, where we navigate the fast-paced world of automotive and more. I'm your host, Corson Schmidt. Here today, I have Cary Redman. Cary is a leader in the automotive aftermarket, bringing over 25 years of experience to his role as Chief Revenue Officer at PRW Power USA. With a career that began at the grassroots level, Cary has steadily climbed the ranks, working the powerhouse brands such as Holley, Edelbrock, Magnaflow, Mr. Gasket companies, and race-winning brands before joining PRW. He holds a bachelor's degree in marketing and business management, an associate's degree in automotive aftermarket, and a master's in business administration. Known for his deep industry knowledge and hands-on experience, Cary oversees all aspects of revenue generation at PRW, including sales, customer success, and partnerships. His journey is a testament to hard work, adaptability, and a passion for performance that continues to drive innovation and growth within the industry. It's great to have you here, Cary.
I appreciate it, Corson. Thank you for having me. When you read through that, I sit back and think about, wow, it seems like just yesterday when I was the youngster, the greenhorn, the guy fresh out of college that nobody wanted to listen to. So it's pretty interesting to be sitting in the seat I'm sitting in now, but 25 years goes quickly. So.
For sure, definitely, yeah. Time flies, right? And it's just part of life. But
yeah, absolutely.
Do you mind taking us through a little bit of that background that
Sure.
I just kind of spoke on there?
Sure, absolutely, not a problem at all. I grew up in a farming community in Michigan, mid-Michigan area, and spent my childhood years working basically the field, shoveling stalls, milking cows, rock picking fields, the manual labor side of farming. And it was as I was going through school, high school and junior high, and that aspect of it, computers were just starting to come on scene. They were just starting to be the thing. The internet was just starting up, so the World Wide Web, there wasn't phones. Everybody didn't have a phone in their pocket, and they didn't know what the World Wide Web was, right? Where does it form? Where's it end? That type of thing. So I spent half my day in electronics, as far as the computer side of things. They just called it electronics back then. Computers and spreadsheets, and learning how to work a computer, so to speak. And then the other half of my day, I'm very much an enthusiast, an automotive enthusiast, so I'm hands-on type person. So the other half of my day was spent in auto class, metal shop, woodworking. So it was literally a split right down the middle. And I figured out as I was going through high school that I didn't necessarily want to be dirty all the time. I didn't want to be that grease monkey. Right?
For sure.
Growing up on the farm, you're always dirty. You're always in the middle of something. And you're always greasy.
Yeah.
So these computers, these new innovations of computers were coming on board. And I thought, man, this really interests me. This is all right. I can do this same type of stuff. I can have an interest that's not going to get me dirty all the time. And it morphed into, from there, it really morphed into going to work at the parts store, the CarQuest auto parts store. And just started out stocking shelves, and I wasn't dirty, but I was still in the automotive side of it. And at the time,
sure.
Stocking parts and delivering parts, and then I worked my way up to a counterman and was starting to actually work with customers, and I was digging that. I liked it a lot. It was nice to be able to help people. They come in with a problem, they've got a broken part in their hand, and they're somebody kicked their dog, so to speak, and then you were able to get them the part, get them fixed up, and get them going down the road. So that part of it really intrigued me. So that really got me into the customer service side of things. And when I was stocking parts, I always had, when you're a kid, you don't have a dime to your name, but you're always enthused by the hot rod stuff, the performance stuff, the go fast side of things. And,
For sure.
I was putting away Edelbrock products on a regular basis. Edelbrock carburetors were selling like hotcakes, intake manifolds and different things. And I was like, man, I can't wait till I can have some of this and work with this and do that. So as I'm progressing through life, I ended up in a school called Northwood University, which is an automotive aftermarket school. They literally teach you how to own and operate your own business, all the pricing levels, all the profitability stuff. I mean, everything to basically do around the automotive world, channels of distribution, etc. So I'm working at the parts store. So I'm learning at college. So on the weekends, I'm coming home and working at the parts store. So I'm applying everything I'm learning during the week literally, oh, now this makes sense. I understand why there's a jobber sheet and a WD sheet, and how these things all work through the system and the pipeline. So it was just really, for me, it was a hands-on, like, aha moment. And I was like, yep, all right, this is what I want to do. I want to get in this automotive aftermarket. I want to enjoy this because I can still be hands-on, but really be interactive with people and helping people and selling parts. And so I really fit right into the niche of the sales and marketing side of things. So
Awesome.
that part of it is what kind of drove me there. Then it was one of those where I still had this. I mean, my lifelong dream was to work for Edelbrock. That was when I, started at the parts store, and just that was my goal. So when I'm going through college, Holley, who's like in my mind at the time as a youngster, was like the arch nemesis, right? The rival of Edelbrock.
Yeah.
You said you've got two competitors, and they had come to do an industry speaker. Well, I didn't have a clue on how I was ever going to get to Edelbrock. No clue at all. So I thought, well, you know what? What's it going to hurt to go improve my interviewing skills?
Sure.
So I sit down with there's a group of us. They did basically a group interview, and there's 4 or 5 of us there. And because of my experience at the parts store, it really worked in my favor because they had a machine shop in the back. So it was you're turning rotors, you're resurfacing flywheels, you're building hoses, right? You've got that background.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy was basically walking through and quizzing people about what they knew and their knowledge and this and that. He gets to me and he's walking through. Has anybody ever done any of this stuff, right? And even over a 30-minute conversation, basically 4 of the 5 people basically said, "No, I'm out. Right? I don't know what you do. I don't know anything about Holley. Anything. I can't help you." And me and this guy, we just kept talking. And next thing I know, he's like, "Man, you'd be a natural fit with Holley." I'm like, "Okay." Like I wasn't even thinking anything was going to happen with it.
Yeah.
So they, long story short, they had never done an internship program, but they decided to cut their teeth on it and give me a try. So then it was like, okay, all right. So this is between my junior and senior year. So the summer, this was like March of my junior year. This
Mm-hmm.
was also when private equity was coming into the industry. So Holley was owned by a company called Colt Industries forever, like the handguns, Colt handguns,
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Well, then they sold, ironically, between the time they interviewed me, they even brought me down, interviewed me, the whole deal. Like, hey, we want to do something with you. One school's out. We don't know what yet, but we'll let you know. We'll be in touch. Okay, no problem. Well, that time came and went. It was like June. That time came and went. Well, they also, during that time, they got acquired. They got acquired by a private equity firm. So all the people I interviewed with were no longer there. So it was like, just like the wind lets out of your sails, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't know this, though, at the time. So I called down to speak to somebody, all the people I spoke to. I was like rattling off names, talking to the receptionist. Literally, I called into Holley. Hey, I'm Cary Redman. I interviewed there, da-da-da-da. I spoke with ABC person. Well, those people are all gone now. Okay. All right. And she says, well, let me get you over to this guy. His name is Mark Aiden. Fantastic gentleman, still in the industry today. And he said, I get him on the phone. And he's like, I don't know who. I never talked to him, so he didn't know me. I didn't know him. I said, I know there's a file there with my name on it because they were filling out paperwork. I filled out paperwork. I'm sure it's in HR. But again, I'm not pushing. It was more of keep me in mind for next year. I know you don't do an internship program, etc. Long story short, he calls me back 3 days later, and he says, yep, found your file. This was right before the 4th of July at this point. And he says, when can you be here? Like, just boom, when can you be here? Okay, all right. So then the rest of it's kind of history from there. But I internship with Holley over the summer. Was able to solidify a position with them. They didn't know where or when, right? So it's kind of the same deal all over again. They didn't know where I'd have a job, but they said, you got a job when you graduate. Just get through school, graduate, get that under your belt. And then we'll go from there. So SEMA time rolls around in November. I get a call about a month before SEMA, and they're like, hey, we want you to come to SEMA. Come work, come help us. We need somebody basically to stock catalogs, basically be a gopher.
Yeah.
Hey, no problem. Okay. So they took me to SEMA for my first time ever, so I got to see SEMA, this glamorous
That's super
show.
cool.
So that was fun, and it worked out great. And so worked that week, and then my spring break rolls around in March. I still hadn't heard anything about where I was going or what the deal was. I go down for spring break, and all the same people are there. So I'm chatting with all these people that I've worked with over the summer and at SEMA, and they're all slapping me on the back. Hey, congratulations! I hear you're going to Colorado. What are you talking about? What? I hadn't been told that, right? 4 or 5 times as I'm working my way upstairs to go see Mark at the time, and he says, "Oh." I get up there and I said, "What's everybody talk about? I'm going to Colorado." I said, "I thought I was working here for the week." He says, "Oh, did I forget to tell you? Yeah, as soon as you walk across the stage, you're moving to Colorado." So
Wow.
I had never, at that point in my life, I had never been east of the Mississippi. So it was going from a farming community to Colorado, living on your own, and then figuring it out from there. So I worked there I worked out there for about 2 years, and then they did a restructuring. They ended up moving me back east to Ohio, to where I was calling on their top accounts. At the time, their business in that Rocky Mountain states was like $1 million. It was a big amount of money, but not a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
When I came back here and started working with the big accounts, the Summits and the Jigs, they do that in a week. So the numbers
Wow.
were mind-boggling to me, just staggering. So I'm growing up. I'm gaining more time in the seat and learning what to do and how to do it with these larger accounts. And so I was calling on Summit and Jigs for about 3 months. And they basically said, "Hey, we need somebody to manage these rep agencies, in the Northeast." I'm like, okay, all right. So never done that before either. But it was just like every opportunity Mark gave me, it was taking me out of my comfort zone, but expanding me too, growing me into the next level. So I ended up managing those folks for a couple of years, and then they shifted their focus again and basically said, "Hey, we want you to just handle the Northeast." So then I turned into a regional manager for the Northeast. So I was basically a road warrior, doing all that business. So for a total of about 5 years, I worked with Holley, and then I went to work for a company called Mr. Gasket. It changed names about 3 times over its lifespan while I was there, over an 8-year period. When I went to work for Mr. Gasket, it was they brought me in to do their mail order accounts. So anybody that had a catalog, and at the time, the internet was still not what it is today. It was growing, but not what it is today. So you're always working with printed catalogs. Yeah. So I was working with that market channel, is what they call it, that form of distribution. Did that for about a year, and then they expanded it into, they knew I had an EFI background, a fuel injection background. Yeah. Then they had a fuel injection division, so I started overseeing that, the sales side of that. And then that went on a little farther, and then I started overseeing, they got introduced to mass merchants, AutoZone, Advance, O'Reilly, Pep Boys at the time, which again was another 900-pound gorilla, kind of like a Summit or a Jegs, right? Just that mass.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and that was real interesting because it was dynamic. It wasn't you're working with one person. You're working with 8 different departments and 200 different locations. But you add one part, you just added 5,000. You just sold 5,000 parts if you added one part. So it was high risk, high reward, but it was also one of those where I knew the category very well because it was all performance, and
for sure.
It was one of those where it just fit my niche. I was always turning a wrench on the side, and with that, every time I need a part, you go into AutoZone, Advance, O'Reilly's are everywhere. So you go into these places and they don't have it because it's not your standard traditional stock replacement part.
Yeah.
So we started working together and building out performance planograms. So next thing you know, I'm able to walk into an O'Reilly store in the middle of nowhere and get this unique part that I needed from a performance aspect. And then I could see it selling, I could see it working, and the more successes we had, the bigger the planograms got. So it was I really took a liking to that mass merchant side of things, and I was growing the business as well. I was saving money, learned a lot about return on investment, returns in general, and gross to net, and all that good stuff. So I was able to cut expenses, increase profitability, and get a lot of cool parts out there for the people to enjoy and work with.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I did that for 8 years. And after that, then during that time, I shouldn't say after that, during that time, when you're in the industry, you get connections, right? You work events, you work trade shows, you talk to people.
Yeah.
So Edelbrock I'd actually got to know a couple of folks at Edelbrock just from industry side of things. And you're always running into them. You're always, it's a very tight knit community. So you're always working together in that regard. So Steve Whipple was the VP of sales for Edelbrock for many, many years. I had bought in a couple of parts. He had made me a deal on a couple of parts that were used that I just needed for a project. And over that 8-year period, and then after 8 years, he had phoned me up one day. And I'm literally interviewing somebody to take one of my plates, I called it, right, one of my job responsibilities, because I was lightening my load up.
Yeah.
He had called me up and said, "Hey, you ever think about coming to work for Edelbrock?" I mean, I literally dropped the phone. I freaking dropped the phone. I thought, "Holy crap!" And I picked it back up, and I'm like, "Sorry about that. I literally just dropped the phone." He says, "Well, I'm taking that as a potential maybe." I'm like, "Oh yeah, absolutely."
That's awesome.
It's
cool.
I mean, I was blown away just to even have the opportunity to be able to do that. So he, at that point in time, again, lifelong dream, never been there, just heard a lot about it. And, he says, "Hey, why don't you come on out and check the place out?" So I went out to California, and I actually had dinner and had a drink or two with Vic Edelbrock. I thought,
wow.
Oh my goodness, right here, like I had hit the top. There was nothing higher, not a thing higher, not a thing in the world, right? It wouldn't have mattered.
Sure.
My life was complete at that point. And so we were able to, in about 24 hours, able to put a deal together. And I ended up putting my notice in at Mr. Gasket and starting with Edelbrock literally about 3 weeks later.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, with them,
amazing.
I was the national sales manager with them, so I was overseeing everything on the branded side, OEM stuff. OEM, they had a mass merchant side of business as well. They did quite a bit in the mass merchant world. So I did, the mass merchant side, their warehouse distributor side, their engine builder side. I mean, I was overseeing the sales team. So it was, I had a full team. It was we call it a mixed team. So it was sales agencies or third party reps, and then also a few outside guys as well. So with that, I did that for 10 years. I was absolutely just, the happiest I've ever been in my life was right then. For eight of those years, I was the national sales manager. And then one random day, unfortunately, Vic had passed away. They had changed presidents, and so there's all that changeover stuff, right? So you got to ride through that stuff.
Yeah.
But I got a phone call one day that basically says, "Hey, you're moving up." I'm like, "What do you mean I'm moving up?" Because Steve isn't old enough to retire. I mean, he didn't want to retire, right? He just loves his job. So they did some shuffling and moved Steve into the OEM side of things, and then just moved me up to the VP of sales over the branded side. So here I am for 2 years, the VP of sales for Edelbrock. My lifelong dream, the whole deal, and I thought, holy Moses, I had hit pay dirt, right? It was just you couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah.
So it did that for 2 years, so it was 10 years total. Private equity makes some changes. There's always things that happen in life, right? Never easy, never good decisions. They're just hard decisions. Probably the better way to put it. There's just hard decisions that need to be made, and I hit a point to where I couldn't excel anymore. It was just one of those things where it was time. Unfortunately, it was just time to go.
For sure.
So that's where Magnaflow came along. Another industry friend. With that, Kevin German's his name, fantastic, another fantastic individual. He needed some help on his mass merchant side of things with Magnaflow. They make a fantastic product and do really good stuff with catalytic converters in the mass merchants. The volume they were doing was pretty extreme. But mass merchants, it was kind of once you know how to. I always say this: it's just a game. You got to figure out how to play the game, right? It may be a new cast of characters, but it's the same game. So different products, different buyers, but it's the same. You have the same philosophy that you have to work with. So I was able to help him out and smooth some things over where they had some rough edges, and work and grow and build their team out. So their team was very successful and worked well. And I can't say enough good things about Magnaflow. That was a great company. It really was just a great company. The only reason I left there is I had an opportunity with Race Winning Brands. That's when Race Winning Brands came along to basically get into the, not necessarily the equity side of it, but up in the food chain to where when they do sell, then you get a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
So Race Winning Brands came to me and we started talking, and that was a mountain. Race Winning Brands is a mountain in comparison. You've got 19 brands, 15 automotive, 4 power sports, over a dozen locations worldwide, 6 different ERP systems. It was a lot. It was a lot. So taking that on was definitely my biggest challenge yet. So we worked there for 3 years, smoothed some things out, worked through some processes, integrated a lot of different policies and programs that were customer focused. Again, all in trying to grow revenue and make things happen. And then with that, Steve Whipple had moved on to another position as well during that 3-year time period, and he was at PRW Power, and ultimately ended up acquiring the company. So it's a much smaller company, but it also has a lot more freedoms with a smaller company as well.
For sure.
So there's easy ways to move quickly and swiftly. You're not necessarily trying to do the paper trail like you would need to in a bigger company. It's just a much simpler process. Have a little fun along the way, which is nice. So it's not all the meat grinder, so to speak. But with that, then in September of last year, I came to work for Steve, and we're in the current role I'm in, and we're able to, between his contacts and my contacts, we're able to grow the business. He doubled it in 18 months. We have a plan to double it again in the next 2 years. We're well on our way to doing that. So it's a smaller company, but we're in process of doing a lot of great things.
That's super exciting. For the audience that doesn't know about PRW, what do you guys offer to the automotive world?
Sure.
What is your company? Give me just the short ins and out of the company.
Sure, no problem at all. So PRW Power is internal engine primarily. Our focus areas are rocker arms, shaft mount rockers, and regular pedestal or rocker stud rocker arms. Flex plates is a big category for us as well, as far as SFI approved flex plates, harmonic balancers, water pumps, and then high performance fasteners as well.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. What brands do you guys usually hold for?
Say that one more time.
What brands do you guys like? Ford, Chevy?
I got you.
Are you all American companies?
Domestic V8. Okay. So Ford, Chevy, Pontiac, Buick, Oldsmobile. We do expand into diesel as well for the Duramax, the Cummins, the Power Stroke, and then also we're expanding.
Okay. Awesome. Super cool.
Honda, BMW, starting to expand into that more and more. The Toyota 2JZ as well. But it's primarily domestic V8.
Okay. Awesome. That's cool. And you guys are expanding year by year from what you were saying earlier as well. So that's amazing.
Yes.
And
yes.
You're gonna...
looking at expanding, moving into a larger building as well, a larger facility. And then adding categories too. I mean, one of the other things that we actually produce is a quadrajet style carburetor, which GM used from 55 up to 87, and they quit making it. Nobody was making castings for it anymore, so we actually tooled up and are making that series of carburetor for all the GM cars: Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, GM, Chevy. So we've got those available as well. Marine applications, even Mercruiser too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. Do you see a demand in carburetors in the past 5 years compared to what it's been, or has it been slowing down now that we're kind of losing that carbureted V8 atmosphere?
Yeah, it's been slowing down for sure with the introduction of the LS back in 1997 when GM came out with the LS motor. That platform is just skyrocketed. It's given people more of a comfort level with fuel injection. And then there's a lot of conversion companies that are out there as well. So if you have a carburetor and you want fuel injection, you can pull your carburetor off and bolt this on. Even Edelbrock makes a multi-port fuel injection version, so it's not a throttle body. That was a fantastic category for them.
Yeah,
and they make a great computer. They really do. The computer complexity has reduced dramatically over the last, I'm going to call it 5 to 10 years. It used to be you had to be an engineer to really program a computer and understand how to make it work. It's kind of like peeling the onion. If you adjusted one parameter, you need to get into 3 others to make sure it actually took. Where now you can literally use your cell phone. I've got three different vehicles. They all have fuel injection on it, and I literally use my cell phone to tune them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought you still had to hook up a laptop to most, but I'm also more of a European car guy. So
well, that's all right.
But no, that's cool.
Okay. It takes all makes and models, right? Our industry isn't segregated by any means. We welcome. There's some really fast European cars as well.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about it, right? Is everyone appreciates everyone's build, and no matter what it is, everyone goes along with it, and they appreciate the build because a lot of people put a lot of time into things. They might think it's cool, you might not, but you still appreciate it because it's something that they value, right? Everyone values their vehicle.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Yeah. And there was just an event that's been an annual event for 20 plus years now, actually 30 plus years now, called the Hot Rod Power Tour. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not. But,
I've never heard of it, no.
Yeah, it's just look up Hot Rod Power Tour. It used to be 7 days, to where it was literally 7 cities in 7 days. And you travel from city to city, set up a big car show, et cetera, and then roll on to the next one.
That would be cool.
Yeah, since COVID, it's down to 5 now. They've shrunk it down, which honestly, I just attended my 15th one out of 30. So it's
wow.
We travel a little over 1,000 miles. Started in Indianapolis, went up to Joliet the next day, Joliet, Illinois, then over to Fort Wayne, Indiana, Monroe, Michigan, and then back. It ended in Norwalk, Ohio. So it's those are a great way. There was over 6,000 cars, just to give you an example. There's over 6,000 cars that were on the long haul. But it's a testament for all those builders that are out there to be able to say, hey, my car made it on a power tour. You're driving that thing. You're driving it. It's very similar to a drag week, but a much softer horsepower side of things and a lot more cars.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. I think we need to see more of that because you'll get the shows and you bring your car, but if you actually see these cars driving and actually be able to cruise with other cars, that's just a totally different atmosphere, and it brings a lot the community together a lot more for sure.
It does. They actually post the routes, so you'll be driving along and you'll have people sitting on the side of the road in their lawn chairs taking pictures of all the cars driving by, waving, and just it's a really neat. It's just a really fun, neat event, just because of the fact that you're backcountry roads. You're not taking the freeways. You're not just getting from A to B. The routes they do the routes through Google Maps, so you literally just follow Google Map on your phone and it takes you everywhere you need to go. I mean, it just they've done a really nice job over the years of making that a fun event.
That's awesome. We definitely need to see more of that, especially here in Canada. It makes it tough because we only get the summer months to do it.
I know. Well, that's all they're doing here too. They do that thing once a year, and it's always in June. But now in Canada, that would be good too. There's a lot of neat spots in Canada to see that people just don't know about.
Yeah, no, for sure. It would be something. Maybe I'll have to organize something like that because it's a great idea. It's super cool.
You look up Hot Rod Power Tour and you'll see everything there. You'll see how to do it and what to do, and it's a cool little deal. The venues are fun. They get you into. I mean, we've done stadiums. We've set up at stadiums. We've set up at county fairgrounds. We've set up at racetracks. I mean, it's wherever you can get a lot of people in. Easy in, easy out. That makes it simple to do. For sure.
And that's the hardest thing at the same time is trying to find a location you guys can set up with 6,000 vehicles.
Yep, yeah. And it grew into that. I remember when I first started doing it with Edelbrock back in 2011. It was there was about 2,500. Right, it was about 2,500 cars, 3,000. On a high end, it was 3,000. Then they got to the point to where now, when I was talking, it's the same people that are running it today that were running it for the last 10 years. I ran into them, and I actually did it as a participant instead of doing it as a vendor. And just asked him how many cars, and he said, "Yeah, we're over 6,000 now."
That's crazy. That's amazing. That's
Yep.
cool. It's nice to know that the car community is still there.
It is. It is. Yeah. And the current, not to make it political, the current administration is very car focused as well. Consumer choice, not necessarily forcing people into EVs, but giving
Yeah,
consumer choice. So that's going to help us too for at least the foreseeable future.
for sure. Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
So throughout your journey, because you've had quite a journey from grassroots level to an executive leadership now in the automotive aftermarket industry, what were some of the most pivotal moments or lessons that kind of shaped your career along the way?
I'll go back to referencing the game and the players. So pivotal moments. When you get the bigger the company, the more opportunities there are to make bad decisions
For
or
sure.
have decisions that impact a lot of people. So being able to navigate, here's the directive from this end, and then how it's going to impact this end, right? And then being that liaison in the middle, saying, okay, I understand your objective, I understand what you're trying to do, right? It's always profit. They're always trying to figure out a way to make more money. But then you also run into a point to where you can raise your prices so much that people quit buying your parts, right? So you don't want to be at that point. You don't want to be at that diminishing returns. Then it's working with the customers. They're getting squeezed in the middle day in and day out from manufacturers that want to sell direct and go around distributors. So you're constantly dealing with that aspect of how do you make it so it's an even playing field for everyone, right? And even
For sure.
in that aspect, I've learned a lot there on how to do that, and have been successful in doing so. To where customers, they'll get to the point to where they say, you know what, I can't sell your stuff anymore because I can't make any money at it. There's nothing more frustrating than that when you know you have a good product, but when they can't make money at it, they have to make a business decision as well.
For sure. Yeah, at the end of the day, it all comes back to who's selling or it comes back to money,
Yep,
right? That's
yep, that's exactly
business.
right.
It's business, right? That's
It,
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 right?
it is, and that's probably the hardest. That's probably the hardest thing when you're coming into this industry or even starting out in it or may not know much about it. The hardest thing is all these companies in the beginning. I'm going to say back in the 50s and 60s, were all enthusiasts. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
about the money. It was about making a great part that made a car go faster, that
Yeah.
was fun. That was what it
Yeah.
was all about. And then as time progresses, it turns into more about the money than less about the new products and the livelihood and that aspect of it.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
those folks that understand the new product is lifeblood of the business, those are the ones that do well. And then there's those folks that focus in more on the bottom line side of things, that it's a line item on a spreadsheet. Those folks tend to struggle. I'm not going to say they fail, they just struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of decisions were made along the way, a lot of lessons, not decisions. I'm going to rephrase that. A lot of lessons were learned along the way of what to do and what not to do, and when to do it and when not to do it.
For
Uh,
sure.
it That's where about 10 years after I graduated, I went back and got my master's. And everybody's like, "Why are you doing that? Why are you getting your master's? What's the point of all that work for 2 years? You don't need it in the industry."
Yeah.
And what I was seeing is that more and more of the private equity firms were coming in and buying up these companies that were the founders were aging out. Right? They just didn't. They got to a retirement point. They didn't want to, do the business anymore, so they were selling.
Mm-hmm.
And these private equity firms were looking more and more at education than they were experience. And that's when they come in, they're very money focused or
Yeah,
financially focused, right? They want
for
to
sure.
make sure all the charts look good, and they want to make money too. So for me, the masters was kind of the next step up. That if I ever wanted to get to the executive level, I was going to need to have a master's.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, in '08 and '09, I started down that process and finished that up in 11, and it definitely helped me. It opened doors for me that wouldn't. So hey, do I eat or do I not eat? Right, that's easy. But then it's a matter of what's going to happen for the next steps, C, D, and E. If I eat now, what am I going to have to eat later? right? And how's that going to impact it later? That's a very simplistic approach, but that's what the critical thinking teaches you.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of those decisions that were made and looked at, and a lot of conversations were had, I'm always asking, what's after that? You implement this happens. Well, then what happens if it goes here or it goes here? You have to think 3 steps ahead.
For sure, and you got to make sure you're sustainable across the whole
That's
company, right? You can't make one thing super efficient, but you're gonna mess something else up. You got to make sure you're making it efficient throughout the whole process, and that's the point in making it efficient. And
exactly. Yeah,
moving things forward.
Yep. Yeah, and you can make a decision that seems great for the short term, but then the long term, it ultimately is like commit suicide. I mean, that dramatic. But I'm very customer focused. That's always been the customer comes first. The customer is the key. As much as I'm not a job jumper, I don't like jumping jobs. I don't like changing jobs. The one thing I've learned is that customers stay the same and jobs come and go. So you want to make sure to take care of your customers. If you don't take care of your customers, they're not going to take care of you long term.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Right. Your customers pay the bills of the company, and they pay your bills for your paycheck at the end of the month. Right?
Yep. Absolutely right. Absolutely. So there was a point in time, especially back in the honestly both in Edelbrock and the Holley days, and honestly Mr. Gasket days. There wasn't a state that I couldn't go to that a customer didn't say, "Hey, come stay with me. You don't need to stay at a hotel tonight. Come stay with me." Right. So, and that's no joke. I mean, all 48 states, we had customers in all 48 lower 48 states, even up in Alaska. Heck, even in Hawaii, there's over there too. Did a vacation over there, and the customer over there is like, "Hey, you don't stay out there. Come stay with me." So for me, that's the big thing. I don't want to. Your reputation is all you have in the industry, and the one thing I don't want to do is grenade a relationship.
For sure, and that's the thing with the automotive industry, right? If you're selling those parts, you have great people you're dealing with all the time, and you got to make sure that you keep that reputation good as well.
Yes,
because that word can spread pretty quick, especially within such a big industry, right?
It seems big, but it's really not. It's really a small industry.
Yeah, everyone's pretty tight, and everyone knows someone, or everyone knows everyone pretty much.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Even this year, I was fortunate enough. I was actually nominated for the SEMA board of directors to get on the ballot. I'm not elected or anything like that. It was just to get on the ballot. And that was a real surprise to me. I didn't think I never saw myself there. I didn't. So they had the election. I wasn't well known enough to make the board, but I was on the ballot. So that was an experience in itself, and I feel quite fortunate to even get to that point.
That's a super amazing achievement. So we'll kind of dive through industry trends.
Sure.
We spoke earlier about how we're seeing the change from a lot of people not buying those carbureted parts and not buying those classic parts now that the LS has come out. But what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen in the past 5 years, other than obviously the carbureted parts aren't being bought, and like in terms of customer expectation, what are customers really looking for, or what has changed within the past 5 years, we'll say?
Sure. From a couple of key things. One is they're looking for kits, not just bolt-ons. They're looking for as many bolt-ons as they can find for their particular cars, just to make it easy. The old days, you had to fabricate some stuff, you had to make some things, you had to really kind of work to make it work. Where today, companies have done a fantastic job of making bolt-on products for just quite a plethora of applications, just a boatload of applications. And that's made the life of really the enthusiast much easier.
For sure.
Suspension kits, wheels and tires, braking systems, those have advanced a bunch in the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, even turbo kits. If you look at turbo kits, you can buy a full bolt-on turbo kit that fits exactly how it should on your engine.
Yeah,
Like
exactly,
it's
exactly.
pretty crazy. And
Yeah,
it's
and
just the
turbos.
convenience of the customer, right? That's with
Yes.
everything. Even look at Amazon, they
Yeah.
deliver right to your door. It's the convenience of the customer.
That's a key thing too. You hit my next bullet point. It's a perfect segue. Amazon, the instant gratification. People want their parts and they want them now.
Yeah,
They're not willing to wait for it. They want them now. So they're how quickly can I get it? Where can I get it from? From a warehouse distributor standpoint, they're having to stock deeper and be more efficient.
hmm
Being able to get parts out in the same day up till 6, 7 o'clock at night. That Amazon scenario. Amazon changed the industry like they did for many. They changed
for
the
sure.
industry and how people get parts. So that is the next thing that really changed over the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah,
And what you can get anymore. It used to be anything big. If it was a truck grill guard or a tonneau cover or anything big, wheels and tires, you just have to go to a store and get it.
yeah,
And now they'll ship it to you.
yeah.
I mean,
Pretty crazy.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. But that's also had a negative impact on our installers. When you look
For
at our
sure.
installers that are actually doing the installs, that are the ones that used to handle all those big products, that used to be the one
hmm
you had to go see, uh, they're having to really compete now with that day in and day out process,
For sure.
and getting people in the door and keeping them, right? They may
Yeah,
come in
yeah.
and in the old days they could sell it for what they wanted. Right.
hmm
This comes right back to the websites and the World Wide Web. You could sell it for whatever you wanted to when somebody walked in your door because there's nobody to compete with. Maybe your neighbor
Yeah,
down the street. But now people are like, oh, let me check on my phone. What do you mean
yeah,
that thing's $800? I can get it for 6 here.
yeah.
And right, they flip it around and say, here you go. So then they really had a transitional phase there to have to work with where consumers aren't as understanding about, hey, that installer's got people he's got to pay. He's got people that do the work. He's got to stock that inventory. He's got
For sure.
the facilities there to pay for, right?
hmm
They don't think about that stuff.
They just want the best deal. And
That's right. Yeah.
the
Yep.
thing with Amazon is when they first came out, they didn't have the good quality parts, like for automotive parts. They
True.
didn't have those good quality parts at the start. But you're starting to see a lot more higher quality parts coming on Amazon, and they're cheaper than what you'd actually buy them in
Yep.
store. And it's
Yep.
so
Yep.
crazy to me on how they can do this. But
It's,
again, it's all the convenience and
yeah.
getting the part there as soon as possible.
That
But
third party.
I think that's the thing that's really going to stand out from other manufacturers and other companies that aren't partnering with Amazon is as long as they have that good quality sustainability of a
Hmm.
project or of a product, it's going to really change the game because you're going to have something that might last double the amount of time than something on Amazon that's a cheap cast, cheaply built. That's not going to last. That's where I see the difference in Amazon versus an actual quality supplier.
Yeah. And it's just like anything. It's a third party marketplace. It's kind of kind of similar to an eBay to where people can sell whatever they want for whatever price they want. That's
Yeah,
one of the challenges too, where some companies have really set forth a call it a MAP pricing policy, a minimum advertised price. You look at an iPhone. If you try to buy an iPhone anywhere, you're going to pay the same price for it, regardless. Doesn't matter
yeah,
where you buy it from, you're going to pay the same price as if you walk into a store to do it.
yeah,
And that pricing strategy is what saves a lot of companies,
hmm
because that pricing strategy it's expensive, it's hard to maintain, it's hard to hold up, but it also allows an even marketplace. It allows for
for sure.
the installer to sell it for a price, the mail order house sell it for a price, everybody to sell it for the same price, but yet maintain the margin so people can manage to pay their bills and pay their employees and keep the lights on.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? Like everyone's got to pay bills by the end of the day. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
how do you guys because you guys are kind of an e-commerce store, you guys are online as well. How do you fight
Yep.
those challenges with companies like Amazon that are super convenient with lower pricing?
So our products we don't sell directly to Amazon, but our products are sold on Amazon, which is okay.
Okay.
We have a distributor base that we work with, and we let those distributors who deal with Amazon day in and day out supply them the parts as they need them.
For sure.
And then from a pricing structure, we have a MAP pricing policy, which one, just allows everyone to be able to be on that same playing field. But then two, it also helps to maintain the brand integrity, so it doesn't look like, hey, you're just a lowball cheap guy out there.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah, for sure. What are some of the biggest opportunities, or we'll say, what are some of the biggest opportunities, then we'll touch on the challenges. What are some of the biggest opportunities that you're facing in the industry today, and how are you preparing to navigate those throughout the future?
So biggest opportunities are we're growing. So we're it comes down to our purchasing side of things and how we're forecasting. A lot of companies will look year over year. They'll look at the last year, same month, and see what they sold to try and get an idea of what's coming up. Where we're having to look at the last literally 3 months of what we've ordered, what we've sold versus what we need to make. And then with that, then it's keeping ahead of that curve because we're growing so much. That's the positive, but it's also a challenge too. So that for us, that's the big thing. We are online. We are our data is I'm going to say getting cleaned up or in process of really making sure it's the best data possible. In the old days, 10 years ago, you had catalogs. Everybody wanted a catalog. Give me a catalog, right? That was your selling tool. Today, it's all because of the website and web in general. It's, hey, what's online? Can I find your stuff online? And how do you have it showing online? Do you have rich content? Do you have good feature bullet points? Do you have lots of pictures, instruction sheets, videos, lifestyle stuff? There's a lot of ways to really sell your product on your website. But then you jump into, and this is again another positive, but it's a challenge as well, is then you get into search engine optimization, your SEO, and how you play that game. Google's another one that's changed the face of how we do business.
For sure.
Just having your parts online doesn't mean that you're going to sell them. You really have to play the game to get people to search it out. When you're searching your phone for a place to eat dinner, the next thing you know, Google's sending you stuff on food places. And types of food and that type of thing, right? So it's knowing how to play that game from a marketing standpoint is key.
For sure, and it's changed. It's dramatically changed in the past 10 years. It used to be more push towards Facebook, but now you're starting to see Instagram. You're starting to see TikTok. Like everything, the landscape is always changing through a marketing aspect, and you have to make sure that you stay ahead of those trends to really get your name out there. And that's the biggest thing, right? If they don't see that you're posting on socials, if they don't see that if they search you up right away, you're like the third one down on the Google search. They might not push towards your company because they might think you're an unexperienced company, right? You got to make sure that you're getting a positive name out there for you guys. Yep, absolutely.
And then from a challenge standpoint, youngsters, getting young people into the industry. This has traditionally been your 45 and up industry as far as the performance aftermarket side of things.
Definitely,
and now it's getting into the 50s and up. I mean, it's getting young people into the industry. When it was back in the carbureted days, I'm going to call it pre-1990, everybody could work on a car, right? You didn't need a computer, you didn't need a laptop. Everybody could work on a car. Now the complexity, so young people and complexity, vehicle complexity, has made it a real challenge kind of going forward. That's really the interesting side of it. When you think about all the video cameras that are on a car now, right? Impact collision type stuff, anti-lock brake type stuff. Heck, even your heater controls, right? Your auto, right? Set it on auto. You don't even need to mess with the knob up or down, right? Cold or warm. Just, I want it 72 degrees. That complexity has really, I think, slowed people down, not hindered, but slowed people down from coming into it. The ones that are coming into it are diehard, and we love it because they embrace the advancement in technology. They embrace it and they want to enjoy it and use it.
For sure. Yeah, it's a totally different landscape now than what it used to be. Like if you go, it's so much easier to go to like a 69 Camaro. Yeah. And if you wanted to do anything in the engine bay, you can actually get to it. Yeah. Or if you get a 2020, even a 2016 vehicle, you get a 2020 or a 2016 Civic, and you try to do like an AC compressor because the AC compressor quit on you, or an alternator,
Yeah.
You can't get to it. There's no room, and there's so much plastic and electronics
Yep.
to get around. It's just a huge pain in the ass. So
Yep. You
it's
have to take the car apart.
yeah, literally. But um, being a young guy, I'm a huge car enthusiast as well, and I'd love to get further into the classic muscle carbureted engines, but the cars are so bloody expensive as well that makes it tough because
It,
everything is so rare and everything is so sought after that
yeah.
finding a vehicle like that is tough to do.
It is. It really is. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is another. You're absolutely right. You hit it right on the head. If they're not rusted out, and they
Yeah.
are in any sort of decent shape, they are expensive.
Yeah.
That's very true.
But it's one of those, and then you see a lot of my generation going for the late '90s, early 2000s stuff, which is just the
Yeah.
start. It's actually that's why I love working on because they're not super
Right.
technically advanced, and they're not fully carbureted. You get that mix and match of everything, which is super
That's right.
nice.
That's right. And there more of them out there.
Yeah, for sure. And
More of
they're
them out there to be able to find, and you can find them at a more reasonable price.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Are there any new products or innovations that you guys are looking to add in the near future?
Yes, we're working on a couple of ways to change a water pump to get a higher flow water pump side of things. We've changed. So we just launched a new rocker arm program for a pedestal or a stud mount that is actually a direct oiling system. So the oil
Okay.
comes right up through the push rod, and instead of splashing onto the trunnion and the roller bearing, it's actually a direct pressure fed right
Nice.
to the trunnion and then out to the roller bearing, kind of like a rod bearing or a main bearing would be.
Yeah.
Same type of thing. That oiling is always the issue with late model motors because the oil pressure is so high, it just shoots the oil right up and over the trunnion or the actual roller tip itself.
Yeah.
So that and those are the primary two, but then we're also looking to expand into other categories as well. So that's we've got some exciting things we're working on for SEMA. Just want to make sure they come to fruition before I let the cat out of the bag.
No, for sure. No worries. I'm excited
Yeah.
to hear what you guys are coming out with. I hope it's Volkswagen things because
You never
could
know.
use a little bit more aftermarket in Volkswagen side of things.
Keep
But what
that
are
in
some of
mind.
the keep it in mind. VR6 is that's the engine that I like. So
Okay, the
you guys
VR6.
get VR6 parts, that would be my go-to. And
Okay.
I'll even drive to the store and come pick it up just so I can come talk to you in person. um,
Fair enough. That's
so you
good to know.
you spoke earlier about the main goal being that you guys obviously want to grow, try to double in the next 2 years.
Yep.
What are some of the shorter steps that you need to take to get to that position?
Yep. Improve our operational efficiency, which is getting parts in, getting parts out. So managing. I talked a little bit about the forecasting and how we have changed our forecasting model.
Yeah.
That's a baby step in accomplishing that. The next thing is working with our supply base to not necessarily have a just-in-time delivery, but a smooth and efficient time frame. So hey, I'm going to be getting a shipment every 2 weeks, not one every 6 weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
Training our manufacturing to focus midterm, not necessarily long term. A lot of the manufacturing side of things, a lot of folks will want to they want to build 100. Like if it's the PO's for 100, they want to build 100. Well, how
Yeah.
about we build 50 and 50 from a work order standpoint, not necessarily a customer PO. But that
Yeah.
way you get 50 on the shelf so you can keep selling it. Getting back orders doesn't necessarily result in growing the business. You have to be able to ship the part. So it's an efficiency game to make sure that we're focusing on the correct inventory, bringing that in on a consistent basis, and then being able to ship it out as quickly as possible.
For
So
sure.
that's one aspect of it. And the second aspect, we just launched this website that we currently have in October. It's a brand new site, and it's already from a Google Analytics standpoint, it's already surpassed the other one within a 6-month time period. So
awesome.
we're doing the right things there. data is king. So analyzing and looking at our data to make sure it's that silent salesman, kind of like we were talking about earlier. If people don't have catalogs, they're going to their computer or they're going to their phone. They have to be able to get the information they're looking for, plus some, on their phone or in that data. So that's another baby step, is ensuring that our data is 100% up to date every day. No questions asked. That way a customer, if they're looking for something, they can find it quickly and easily, either via Google or just on our website.
For sure. No, that's great.
Yeah, the data is the king.
Yeah, and as long as you can keep those customers happy and give them what they're looking for.
Yep. The challenge is with how the data needs to be laid out. When you look at it from a formatting standpoint, what you see on a website is the easy stuff. That's how it's laid out well. It's perfect. It's easy to follow. When you do it on a spreadsheet, to get it to that point, it's really, unless you have a mindset for it, it's kind of cumbersome.
For sure. Definitely. Most definitely.
Kind of like code for a computer.
Yeah. It's something that only some people can do if they have the knowledge to do it, and it's a lot of work to learn it, right?
Yeah.
Who was your biggest role model throughout your journey?
I've been fortunate to work with some really intelligent people along the way. I didn't have any one role model. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, so I look at the strengths of everybody and just ignore the weaknesses, right? Because I have them too. I've got my weaknesses as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I've been fortunate to have a lot of good leadership mentors along the way. Some way above my pay grade, and then some that were my direct supervisors. So it's mentioned a few names along the way. I mean, between Mark and Steve, another gentleman that I worked with for a lot of years is Bob Brigging. He's an industry veteran as well. So I learned a lot from each individual. There are many people though. Those are just three that I've had direct reports to. But there are many customers that I've worked with that have taught me things. Do's and don'ts, right? I've stubbed my toe a bunch along the way, right? I've done some silly things that customers reminded me of. Hey, this isn't the way you want to do this. So I honestly listen to my customers probably more than I listen to my bosses, only because they've experienced the position and the ramifications of if you do something, what the reaction is, right? Every action has a reaction. Sure. So I'll poll customers before I'll make any big decisions. I'll poll customers, say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, and here's why. Here's what I'm trying to overcome. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm sure you've seen this throughout your tenure. What do you think? And 9 out of 10 times they come back and say either, hey, tweak it this way and do this, and here's the reason why, or hey, this is perfect. You're spot on. Run with it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't do that and you launch a program, which I have done, I've launched prior to learning that lesson. I've launched stuff that wasn't thoroughly thought through in my younger days. Wasn't thoroughly thought through, and it wasn't. It wasn't a catastrophic situation, but it was one of those where, hey, if you'd have done this differently, you would have had better results.
And those are the lessons you learn, right? Being in the industry, and it's just challenges are going to come, and you're going to make mistakes, but it's just about retaining that knowledge of not doing it again next time, right? So
exactly. Exactly
that's
right.
Amazing.
That's why I say the customer to me is the most important. Not that I'm trying to diss bosses or anything like that. Not at all. The customers, you have to be that liaison between the two, right? Bosses have their job they have to do, right? Their objectives and what they need to accomplish. And if you don't have a customer, you're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, so and they're the one that sees the business from the outside in, right? They're not in the inside looking at it out. They're the one having the experience. So as long as you get their opinion, it can be huge. And you might get different opinions from different customers, but that's something that's always going to happen. You're going to get different people within coming into the business, coming in out of the business. And
Exactly. Customers, there's been customers that have gone away along the years. They've gone out of business, or they've been acquired, or that aspect of things. But the people that run those businesses are still around today, and I still work with the bulk of them today. So even in tough times when things are tough for the customer side of things, trying to make sure that you're working with those folks and making sure that you're doing everything you can to help them, not necessarily make it worse for them. They remember that going down the road.
Definitely, most definitely. I have a couple more questions here for you. What advice would you give to a younger entrepreneur wanting to get into the aftermarket parts automotive space?
Jump in with both feet. I know the hardest thing is getting your foot in the door. That's the hardest thing, right? Trying to figure out how do I even get my foot in the door. SEMA has a lot of opportunities that you can look at SEMA. There's job postings at SEMA.org. Even Asia, Automotive Service Industry Association, they have job postings as well. Look for those opportunities and apply, and be persistent. Don't be a pain, but be persistent. Right? Follow up with folks. That shows initiative. Don't just put your resume in and go on and go ho hum. Follow up with them. Did you get it? Is there any questions? Can I help? Can I talk to you? Can I interview? And then when you do get your foot in the door, be a worker. Don't just go in and sit down and say, what do I do next? If you're bored, ask for more. That's the key. Management looks for people that have initiative. If you're sitting there and need more work, speak up. Is there anything else I can do? There's always something to do. So there's always help that's needed. Ask for it. Don't wait to be assigned it. Ask for it, and then that will help. That's one of the key things I always did is, hey, I need more to do. I've knocked this out. I've done this. What else do you need? How else can I help? And just keep pushing that way, and you'll work your way up the food chain pretty quickly.
For sure. Well, that's one of the best advice you could give someone, right? Especially with this day and age. There's some youngins that don't have the work ethic like people used to, but as long as you keep driving towards that end goal, you're going to eventually keep stepping up, right?
Yep. The other thing too, one last thing there for the youngster side of things is always show up on time. If you're 10 minutes early, you're in my opinion, you're late. I mean, you don't just show up at the strike of the hour when you're supposed to start. Be there 10, 15 minutes early. Be ready to go. Don't just be showing up late. That's a major pet peeve for a lot of folks. And be on time. Be a timely person. Doesn't matter what you do the night before, but make sure you make the bell the next morning.
For sure. Yep. It's all about the respect level, right?
Exactly.
You have to respect the company, and they're going to respect you back.
Yep, exactly.
For sure. Where can people find PRW Power? What's your website?
Yep.
You're using social media, LinkedIn?
Yep, real simple, prwpower.com. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're growing, like I say, but you can find us in any of those locations. So please check us out. If you're in the car market for build the motor, definitely give us a look because we've got a lot of parts and pieces.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast today, Cary. Appreciate you giving us your story, giving us some of your experience that you went through and the knowledge that you have in the industry. It was super great speaking with you, and I hope we stay in touch for sure.
I appreciate it, Corson. Thanks for the time.
Awesome. Thanks, Cary.